Hi guys, it's SkintBoot here, and today what I'm going to be finally bringing you guys is a new episode of This Week in No Man's Sky. So, yes, I know, it has been a very long time. I'm going to get on to what's happening very soon, but I do just want to open up with the fact that I am hoping to come back to regularly making No Man's Sky videos, but also other videos as well. I've said this in the past, but I am going to be trialing some other content as well, just so I can get a bit more of a mix, and so I don't go through these kind of dry periods, as you will. But I will get onto that very shortly. That's our first topic of the day, but in case you guys don't know what this series is about, it is basically a way of me discussing the week's events in the No Man's Sky community, or, you know, arguments or debates or any kind of content relating to No Man's Sky that has happened around this week, give or take, in a fairly informal and relaxed way. If you see my other videos, then you'll know that I spend an absolutely shit ton of time editing the audio so it seems like I don't mess up, and of course editing the videos themselves so they flow better and you have visual aid and things like that. But this series aims to strip all of that back and just have the pure voice of me, I guess you could say, which is a bit annoying because I've had this ulcer on my lip for fuck knows how long now, and it is going to hurt a little bit to talk. But we have a fair amount to touch on in today's episode. We are going to be talking a lot about No Man's Sky, but really just kind of one thing to do with No Man's Sky. There is another mention of something, which is the fan-made film, which I only want to bring up very quickly because I don't know a lot about it. In fact, I'm very confused what it even is, but it looks pretty damn cool. I'll include a link to the site or the trailer or whatever, the Twitter post, you know, it doesn't matter, in the description for you to check out. But there are some genuine actors in it, and it's a really confusing thing to me because I'm trying to work out why and just who would want to make this. It's really cool, but it just doesn't seem genuine. I can't explain it. It seems a little too surreal. But I wanted to get that out the way and not have that as like a big point because I don't know enough about it. But if you guys are more clued up on it, then feel free to let me know because I honestly just don't have a clue. But the first thing which I want to touch on, as I said, is just a little bit to do with what's going on with this channel before I delve into, you know, like the actual topics as such. So the last video I made was Is No Man's Sky Worth a Purchase in 2019? And this was, I think, about a month and a bit ago now. I think it was about 3 weeks, so, you know, just under a month. But it was a damn long time ago, and I haven't uploaded since that video. And there have been a number of different reasons why. The first reason is the fact that that video just burned me out. Like, that editing and the script writing and all of that was just so much. I edited that video for nearly a week. I put so much damn time into it. I almost feel like I overexposed myself to YouTube. And because of that, I just needed time away from it. Because every time I booted up Vegas, my mind was just blank. I was like, I have no clue what I'm supposed to be doing right now. Second reason was that I did a massive setup change. I swapped my bed and my desk around. I got a TV in the room hooked up to the PS4. I've been fucking around with the PlayStation a lot. I've been playing it way more than the PC. And because of that, YouTube was just taking a back seat. Before, it was kind of like, I will do a bit of YouTube, then play for a bit. But, you know, now it's like almost recaptured how it used to be, where I look forward to playing games. I actually have stuff to play. I have people to talk to, things like that. It didn't quite used to be like that until I bought the PS4. So that's another reason why. And finally, another very simple reason why is just because No Man's Sky is in a dry period. We're going to talk about this very soon, but there has just not been a lot to make videos on. Simple as. But the biggest one for me is definitely just a burnout from that video. But the video did very well. Without sounding cocky, I knew that it would be one that would get a bit of attention because I spent a lot of time on it, and generally speaking, the more time I put into videos, the better received they are. And I think it's nearly reached 100k actually, which is absolutely fucking beautiful. So thank you everyone for checking that out. But with that out of the way, we're going to talk a little bit about No Man's Sky. And of course, the first thing which I want to open up with is, of course, what's going on at the moment. I mean, we haven't had an update since Visions, and Visions was, what, November, I believe? We're now on, is it the last day of January today, as of recording, 31st of January. And the last update we received was, when was it, 20-something of November, I think it was, which was Visions. So we haven't had anything since then. We've had minor updates. I think we had a community event as well, but we haven't had a full content update. Not even like a little one like Visions or Abyss, which were fairly small, but nor have we had like big chunky ones like Next or 1.3, anything like that. So I want to talk a little bit about the reasons why I think this is. And this will then, of course, lead us on to what I think this update will be. But I think I'm going to save most of that for a scripted video. So that's something which I want to get to very, very soon. But first of all, I do just want to say once again, because I don't know if everyone knows about this, this year of making content is going to be my final year. I'm finally doing something with my life as of September. I'm going off to university, and I should have gone last year, but I decided to take a year out. And when I go off, it's going to be very hard for me to make content, not just because of the work that I'm going to be doing, but also taking a big fat computer with me and monitors and mics and all of that is going to be a lot of hassle, especially if I want to come back for a few days. I'm going to have to take the PC back. I guess you could say there are workarounds, and I think there are. But at this point in time, and this is subject to change, trust me, a lot of people have told me that, you know, people that are at uni currently are like, look, I would do YouTube because you'll be bored. But as it stands at the moment, this year will be my final year of making content. So October will be the end of the channel. I'll leave all the videos up and all of that bollocks. But I just wanted to get that out there in case some of you didn't know. I put it on Twitter, but I don't know if a lot of people saw it. But yeah, that's that. Subject to change, of course, but I'll keep you guys updated. Anyway, I've rambled enough, so let's just get into No Man's Sky and start talking about myself. So, at the moment, we are in a period of radio silence. We know that. Everyone knows that. I don't have to tell you that No Man's Sky is very dry at the moment, because the game is built in a way where updates are really cool and they, you know, hold interest, but they don't hold interest for a lifetime, you know. Eventually, people are going to get a little bit tired or maybe even a little bit bored of what content they have, because No Man's Sky is a game which, at the end of the day, only adds kind of like gimmicky additions in a weird sort of way. The game isn't like fundamentally changed, at least since Next, where the gameplay itself, you know, the materials and all of that are changed. So people tend to get quite bored of it if updates aren't released fairly regularly. And because of that, No Man's Sky is very much in a dry period with no updates and as well no talk from Hello Games, which is very strange because this kind of silence is not something which we usually hear from them. Not since, you know, back in the days where No Man's Sky was a little bit of a shit show. Excuse me, I'm still a bit ill. But this silence, a lot of people have interpreted to be bad things and also good things. Now, I want to explain to you why this is a good thing, and I also want to give my thoughts on why I believe this is happening. But the general consensus, which is what a lot of people are agreeing on, a lot of content creators like Sword and Game Mode especially, are talking about how because Hello Games are silent, and they haven't been silent in a very long time, they are very clearly busy. Because as we know, Hello Games have said multiple times that they prefer to make than talk. So if they're making something, and they're making something that is taking up basically all of their time, all of their developers, then chances are they're not going to be able to talk about it, or perhaps they just don't want to talk about it. So by Hello Games not saying anything on an update, not giving us, you know, like a little roadmap or a little hint or a little trailer, shows that they are working on something big. If they were working on a Vision style update, you know, or an Abyss style update, first of all, we would have probably had it by now. I mean, it would have been about 2 months since Abyss and Visions. Or was it actually, it could have been a month. Yeah, because Abyss was, October and Visions was November. Fuck, that was only a month? Damn. Anyway, point is, that was a short period of time, and if it was a small update, we would have received it by now. We haven't. It's February tomorrow, and it probably will be February as of you watching this video. So, by us not receiving an update, that's basically unofficial confirmation that this update is not going to be on the same sort of scale as Visions or Abyss. It's not something they can pump out in a couple months, give us a little heads up and go, there you go. There has been a lot of silence surrounding what they're making. And as I said, this silence likely means they're working very hard and they're very busy. So it's fairly safe to assume that this update that's coming, I like to think quite soon, is going to be a major one. It's going to be a big one. It's not going to be a little one. It's going to be a significant sized update, perhaps a 1.3 style, or perhaps probably not a next style because that's a little too big. But what you have to remember is that Hello Games said themselves in 2018 that 2019 was going to be a good year for them. It's going to be a good year for No Man's Sky, and that's because they have updates, major updates in their words, that they're going to release this year. So it makes sense for them to start off 2019 with a big update. I mean, that makes sense to me, that probably makes sense to you, and ultimately that makes sense to Hello Games. So this big period of silence isn't a bad thing. Some people are kind of, like demanding the update, like, guys, where is it? We've been abandoned again. Like, no, it's not that. It's really not that. I would say it's very likely that an update will come soon. As always, just like with Next and all of those times where we were waiting, the say hello thing, it means that something big is cooking. And I'm excited because I know that 2019 is going to be a good year. But for the most part, it's going to be chunky. Now, in regards to what this update actually is, this is something which I'm very uncertain about. I'm usually quite good at predicting updates. I joked that 1.3 would include multiplayer, and it did. I remember I did it on one of Orbit's streams, actually. And my track record for predicting when they're going to come out and what they're going to contain has been fairly decent, I like to say, without bigging myself up. But for this time round, I have absolutely zero idea. I truly don't know where the focus can be because Visions and the Abyss were very blatant updates. They had a reason to exist. Abyss needed to exist because Underwater was something which people had spoken about for a very long time, and of course Visions was based purely on colour variety and making the game just look a bit more vibrant, which at the time was something the community was extremely vocal about. But at the moment, the community isn't really vocal about anything. There isn't like a big landslide majority of what needs to be improved. It's a lot of different people saying a lot of different things, and for that reason I find it extremely hard to pinpoint what this can be, because my idea of what it will be extremely different to someone else's idea, and that is simply because there isn't a clear-cut direction. The game, in my opinion, at this point in time, does not need something. There's not this one big thing it has to focus on. I'm dying. So, for me to say what it would be, I honestly could not tell you. I truly could not tell you what it would be. There's a good chance it could be a multiplayer focused update. There's a good chance it could be a massive variety update. It could be something to do with planets themselves, like natural features, rivers, or waterfalls, volcanoes, extreme weather. It could be a space update. A lot of people have been saying it's a space update. Robot Boy especially was really big on that. And I think I am going to make a speculation video about that, because of course space does need some major updating. But if I were to go with my gut feeling, I'm really tempted to say it's going to be a variation update. This is simply because the one aspect of No Man's Sky that can always be improved, that there can never be a point where it hits a wall and it cannot get better, is variation. Variation will always be improved, because variation is not just limited to the planets and animals. They're limited to the landscapes, water, animals, animal noises, animal behavior, clouds, trees, space, ships, multi-tools, NPCs, base building. The game is built on variety, and because of that, basically every individual aspect can be upgraded in variety. Now, I think it would make a great deal of sense if Hello Games were to kick off 2019 with a big update to show that they're really committed to making this their year. And I think the one that will do that and sway the most amount of people towards them is Variation. Think about it this way. Variation, even still to this day, is not quite what it was shown to be back in the day. In some ways it is better, but in some ways it's also not. There is a sense that from just looking at the type of planet, you can gauge roughly what it's going to look like. You see a scorched planet and you go, I know it's going to have those weird orange bulb looking things on it. And basically all of them will have that. And because of that, people will always bring this up and they'll kind of always use it against the game. So I think that for Hello Games to really kick things off, make it clear that they're serious, I think a Variation update is the good way to go. I'm going to cut these coughs out because it's going to be annoying as fuck. But remember that this is just an opinion. And although my track record is okay, I can't say this time. I don't feel it. I don't really have an overwhelming instinct that I did have before. Maybe that's because I haven't played the game as much recently. I'm not entirely sure. But that's what I'm going to go with. And a lot of people will probably agree, but then a lot of people will disagree as well. I think between Variation, multiplayer and space, there are a lot of different ways that the game can go. Space is, I think, the most kind of logical step. It's something which hasn't been touched basically at all. Variation is one that will always be brought up, but then again, Vision's kind of touched on Variation, so maybe that won't come quite yet. And multiplayer, again, is something that we know is going to get better, but we just don't know when. I always believe that multiplayer will be an end-of-the-line addition that's added when the game is absolutely perfect, but that's just one man's opinion, again. But in terms of No Man's Sky itself, that's just about the only thing going on with it at this point in time, apart from that weird film, which I can't understand. The update and the radio silence is what is exciting a lot of people. So that's important to note. But guys, as always, let me know what you think. I am planning on doing a couple speculation videos about 1.8, or is it even 1.8? I've been out of the loop so long I can't even remember. The next update I'll make some speculation videos on. But yeah, do let me know because I always like reading these comments. So finally, I just want to end with a little bit of shameless advertisement. Because I have my PS4 now, you guys can add me up on PSN. My gamer tag is SkintBoot, as in what I say in my intro. So that's SkintBoot, no spaces, capital S, capital B. I'll put it in the description for you to add me up. That's on PSN. I do have No Man's Sky, but I haven't touched it since I bought it, which is extremely ironic because that's the reason I bought the PS4. But if you just want to add me and, just say, I've got you on my friends list, then I'm absolutely fine with that. I've accepted a few already, and please do feel free. There's no guarantee I'll talk to you though, because I'm likely playing Rocket League with people, but add me up anyway if you want. But guys, I think that's just about all I have to say for this video. I know this isn't a overly long one, but my throat is starting to hurt and there's not a great deal to talk about. I hope to be back fairly soon. I have a non-No Man's Sky video which I'm working on, a big chunky 15-minute review of a game. It's called Paint the Town Red. It's an indie game. I'm going to be reviewing that, and hopefully I'm going to get back on track and try and make this year a decent last one until October. Subject to change. But I'll let you guys know. But yeah, thank you for sticking with me, and thank you very much for taking the time out of the day to watch this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then please do feel free to leave a like on it, and if you guys could also subscribe to MZK, then that'd be absolutely fantastic. And as always, I will see you guys on my next video. This is SkintBoot, signing out.